update. We're going to be breaking down the Sunday Hockey League. We haven't done this league in quite some time just because I got kind of busy at the end of summer. We went away for tournaments and just never really got around to breaking down even the playoffs for the summer session. So we're going to start out there real quick with just going over the championship games. In our silver championship, we had the silver championship was the Hounds versus the Creek Monsters. Creek Monsters were kind of a throw-together team, half Brickhouse Tigers, added guys in like Wakefield, Dolan, and then a couple guys from the team, the Dons. So they were kind of a mishmash of a team kind of thrown together to make another silver team so we could have that division. They went undefeated throughout the season. I understand that they probably were a little stronger due to the fact that they had all guys that can all play, honestly. I gave him Jacob Wallower and Ned, who's a young goalie who's played in the bronze division. He stepped up his game in that silver playoffs and the entire season, quite honestly, and did a pretty good job for them. So they faced off against my team, the Hounds. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make that game. Would have been a different outcome, obviously, but they defeated the Hounds 7-3. Kind of got out to a big lead, was like 5-0 right away, and then the Hounds kind of clawed their way back. So they just never really got anything going in that game from what I understand. So Creek Monsters were your summer champions in silver in the bronze division and our bronze A division. We had two Utes play the Thundercats. That one, I was watching the scoring from the shore, and it was a back-and-forth game. Two Utes came out with the win and were victorious. I knew they were super happy about that. They were in the lot for like 4 hours after the game. So they wound up beating the Thundercats 6-4 by a 2-goal margin. I think one was an empty net as well. But Tim Detcher kind of put the team on his back in that game. And then Captain Joe Devo obviously was ecstatic about that win and always plays hard. And he just loves winning, that guy. And then in our last one, we had the Gang play the Lazy Eights. Now, the Gang's an interesting team because throughout the season, they have guys, 3 guys in the game, 4 guys in a game, 8 guys in a game, all over the damn map, honestly. And they wound up beating the Lazy Eights 10-4. Now, the Lazy Eights have kind of gone through a little bit of a roster change. They don't have some of the guys that they used to have on their team. So I know that they're in a little bit of a transition, but I know they're getting new jerseys, so we'll reveal those, sometime throughout the season whenever they come in. But the Lazy Eights, unfortunately, weren't able to find any more goals in the tank and stop any more goals, quite honestly. The gang goes with a back-to-back championship. They won in our spring session and in our summer. So moving on to the fall season, we have a 20-team Sunday Hockey League. Now, how it's broken down is a bit interesting because there's 12 teams in the bronze early, and there's 8 teams in the bronze late. Now, normally, there's 8 teams in the bronze early, 8 teams in the bronze late, and then 4 teams in the silver. Because we didn't have enough teams for a silver division, the Roccos moved to during the week, and then the Creek Monsters, which is the team that won Sunday Silver, was kind of just like a throw together for the summer to keep a couple guys on the rink. So, unfortunately, there's not enough for silver. I think in the wintertime, I did get word that we should be getting a Sunday Silver team back. So that should bring that back to probably a 4-team division, which Sunday Silver's always kind of been small since, even like 4 years ago before we left for Sportsplex during the pandemic. Sunday Division's always been 4 teams. I think it's maxed out at 6 before. Way back in the day when you had teams like the Trashers and the Bush Vipers, who have now kind of moved into during the week teams. They used to have silver teams. Tribe is another one. They used to have Sunday silver teams, but a lot of those guys do play during the week now. Now we're playing on multiple teams during the week. So bronze early, 12-team bracket. This is going to be broken down into 3 tiers for playoffs. That might change too, depending on how things go throughout the season. I'm going to keep an eye on the scores, keep an eye on differentials, and see if there's so many blowouts in this. What I'm trying to do as far as making the schedule goes is take the 3 teams that have played silver and put them against some of those better bronze A teams, because for those better bronze A teams, you're really only, I guess you would call, crossing over for 1 game. And I've seen some really close games with like the Thundercats have played really closely against teams. Brickhouse Tigers played really close against the Hounds before. So that 12-team bracket will be broken down for now into 3 tiers. You'll have your top 4, your middle 4, and then your bottom 4. And that's going to be your playoff bracket. So tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I'll probably just name it early A, early B, early C. And we'll go for there for playoffs. So with the team list, we have the Brickhouse Tigers, we did the Degenerates, the Gabagools, the Grizzlies, the Honeybees, the Stickheads, the Hounds, the Mighty Ducks, the Thundercats, the Inebriators, the Pylons, and the Wolfpack. So a lot of teams back for the fall session. Summer's always hard in this on Sundays in the summer because just people going down the shore and things like that. So you don't really get as big as a Sunday league, and that's why in the Sunday league this year, I thought it was really cool because we kind of mixed early and late as from the bronze side of things, put them together and allowed those teams to play some new teams, which is cool. And ultimately, I've always said this: my goal with Sundays is to not have time slots anymore. Get rid of the early and late and have silver start the day with like the first 2 slots, and then have everything from basically 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock be a bronze division, be able to break that down into bronze A and a bronze B, or maybe even 3, like a bronze A, B, and C. So we can figure it out this way, or just, whatever it's going to be called, silver, bronze A, bronze B, and copper. Whatever we want to do as far as the naming convention goes, I would eventually like to do for that Sunday league. I just got to get these guys to adjust their time slots. I know a lot of these teams like playing late. In the schedule, I can give you majority late games, right? But you will have to play some early in order to have a balanced schedule. So we'll see if we can do that maybe after this season. Winter season always seems to be a little easier for teams as far as like, schedules go with kids playing sports and things like that. Things do open up a little bit in the wintertime. So we'll see how it goes, and especially with football. Football does calm down. Before we get in the bronze late, quick rink update. We will have a soundbar hooked up to that TV now. I did find a remote, so that's huge. So we're going to try to get on the Eagles games every week on the soundbar, so guys can come up early and watch the game before their game starts. And if you think about it, in a football game, you could play a full hockey game at Nerc, and it probably lasts 1/4 of that football game. So if you want to, come up early and watch a game, stay after your game, watch a game. The TV is set up. It's a huge TV. Guys can crowd around, watch the game, have the soundbar on. After the game's done, get Red Zone on. Whatever it is that you guys want, we're going to try to make it happen as far as that TV goes, and making sure that you guys can hear it as well, because the TV volume, it just wasn't great. So we will make that happen and have that set up, as you can see in some of the pictures I've been posting about the rink. Also, rink update. The floor is done. Skated on it about 4 times thus far, and it's unbelievable. You guys are going to be shocked. It's like someone said it to me, it's like transitioning from outdoor roller to indoor roller for the first time. I've had a handful of guys come up just to test it out, guys that I've, trust and have played on the steel mat floor before, and guys who haven't played on the steel mat floor before. And I wanted everyone's kind of opinion, because we're going to have things to decide on as far as pucks go, and that's really pretty much it, pucks, because they do make their own puck. Now, that steel mat puck is a tad heavier. A lot of guys do like that, but we'll kind of cross that bridge after week 1, see what guys want to do, if they want to stay with the steel mat puck or if they just want to continue using that IDS puck. So, with the Bronze Lake division, we have an 8-team division. This will be split up into 2 tiers for playoff. You'll have your top 4 and then your bottom 4. So, kind of tiering it out still. So, you have your Bronze Lake A and Bronze Lake B. We have the Gladiators. We have Meal Boosters. We have the Hippos, the Stranglers, Trash Pandas, the Little Beauties, the Lazy Eights, and then the Gang. Now, Meal Boosters is pretty much like half of Rocco's. I just gave them the Meal Boosters jerseys because I knew it was going to be a disaster as far as jerseys go, and that's something we will be kind of cracking down on this season. Now, fill-ins and things like that, I understand those situations, but as far as like your core roster players, we are going to be cracking down on those jerseys, because a lot of guys are complaining about their stats. Well, half the reason the stats are wrong, sometimes the scorekeepers are out to lunch. True. Sometimes Bob is out to lunch. True. But 90% of the time, it's because your guys are wearing different jerseys every week, and it's not even about just having one white jersey with number 6 on it, right? This guy will wear number 16 the next week and number 32 the following week. Like, it doesn't matter. So it's one of those things where we're going to be enforcing it a little more, and this Sunday division is probably the biggest culprit of the crazy jerseys. So of those 8 teams, the Hippos are probably the one team that it could be in like a higher tier than some of these teams. So this is what I was saying earlier, maybe as far as playoffs go, if the Hippos, finish at that top seed, it may be one of those things where maybe I do throw them with like a Steelhound, Stickheads, Degenerates, whoever those top tiers are in the bronze early. So we'll kind of just have to play it by ear. I always put up 3 games of the season or 5 games of the season at first, just to get a feel, right? Just to understand where we are, if there's teams that are significantly better than others, if there's teams that are significantly worse than others as well. I really want to get a good feel for this Sunday league because, as I had mentioned, the ultimate goal is to have a big bronze division separated into a couple tiers, or having a copper division and separating that out as well. So that's my ultimate goal, is to get to that place in our winter season. And I think if we can start that in the fall, with some of these crossovers, that it's going to make it a lot easier. So because of that, we do have some crossovers in this division. So how it works is pretty much there's going to be 2 crossover games per week, because of what I said I'm doing with the balancing of the schedule. So for instance, in the first week, we have the Little Beauties playing the Inebriators. I think that's going to be awesome because you've never seen these teams before. And then you have the Hippos playing the Stickheads. That's another crossover. Now those teams, Stickheads, have played in bronze late in previous seasons, but kind of even looking at week 2, you kind of got the same thing. You have the Hippos playing the Thundercats. You have the Pylons playing the Lazy Eight. So it's cool because you're going to have kind of a mishmash in that middle of the day where you're going to have these crossovers. And I think it's going to make it interesting because those games still count for your bracket, but it's kind of like you're playing an East Coast, West Coast thing. Now, I always thought that the Ultimate Championship was an awesome idea where I had the late winner play the early winner and the silver, late, whatever it was. I thought that was awesome. Some teams didn't like it because they thought that, once they won their division, that they won the championship, but it was sentenced in the beginning that wasn't the case. So you got an extra free game out of it, and it was something cool where you got to play someone you've never played before, kind of just in a straight-up battle, almost like a tournament, how we do it in roller tournaments. Sometimes you don't see a team in round robin, especially in those big divisions like Senior A. You don't see half the teams in that. So may go back to that at some point if we can, like I said, get to a point where we have these big kind of open divisions and break them down in the smaller tiers from there. So rink is ready to go. First puck drop is going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. We have the Wolf Pups taking on the 2 Utes. That's going to be a huge game to kick off the season. We're going to do some additional content for that first game for the new era of Nerc. So we're going to be taking pictures, doing some video, everything like that. So check in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. We will be doing a live stream for that one as well. I'll be doing as much commentary as I can. Obviously, I got things to do with the league, so I may just hop in for a period and do a little bit of a live stream, just kind of get a feel, ask some players some interviews after the first period about, hey, how do you like the puck? If they decide to use the still mat puck, how do you like the floor? So all that types of things. I tell you this right now, if you're a guy who's a good skater, you're going to appreciate this floor. If you're a guy who's a bad skater, get better because it's going to expose you. The floor's a lot faster. You're going to be able to play hockey. You can make passes along the ground without it hopping up. You can make plays, the quick stick handling plays without the puck bouncing on you. Goalies beware, because we're still waiting for the lines to come in. It's kind of just like a big open sheet, and it's going to be difficult for goalies at first to get used to not having circles and not having the soccer goal creases, which were like mark points on the rink that you can use for your angles. So you're really going to have to be conscious of where you are in your crease and kind of recognize that really you're going to have to play the puck as much as possible, right? You're going to have to play the shots. And I played goalie the other day, and I found it difficult. But by the end of it, I felt way more comfortable once I kind of found my positioning within my crease. But it's going to be a shooter's league for sure, with having kind of a real floor to shoot off of here and not having to deal with bouncing pucks and rolling pucks all the time. So that being said, see you guys all this week. Excited to get back at it, and we'll be keeping up to date with these Nerc updates. I know Benny Brullier is going to be doing some of these as well, hopping in and helping me out more with the social media stuff. So keep up to date with everything here. These videos are going to be on YouTube from now on, so make sure you give us a follow on our YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, the whole nine, all under Nerc Hockey.